In this video, we're gonna hop into your moving to San Diego relocation guide, which we just redid. Got a ton of information. You can actually download it right below, but we're gonna jump into different areas, give you some insight into that. It's gonna pair nicely with that. So be sure, watch this, download it after. It's gonna have some good information, but as always, if you guys are thinking about moving out here, first step, you gotta hit us up. We love taking these calls, texts, emails, jump on a Zoom call. I'm Chris Erickson, this is Cassidy Lewis. We got a real estate crew right here in San Diego. We got your back when making the move here to San Diego.
First up is getting into areas of San Diego. San Diego is a huge county, so it is kind of one of the first steps of moving out here is kind of figuring out what parts of San Diego work for you. So the first area to explore if you're thinking about moving out here is downtown San Diego. Obviously, this is where you fly in. This is where a lot of people vacation. So if you've been to San Diego before, you've obviously at least seen downtown San Diego, but there's a lot in that metro area kind of surrounding it. Also, you've got North Park, South Park, you've got the Balboa Park area. There's some great communities within kind of this downtown metro area as you kind of go out from the center of downtown.
And downtown types of housing down there, that's where you're gonna find the most, or at least the most densely packed, like condos, like traditional condos, big high rises. You do have some that have these beautiful views overlooking the bay, overlooking to the east. That's like the area you're gonna find that throughout all these other areas that we're gonna talk about. You're not gonna find a ton of these high rise condos that have that downtown style living. And that's basically only in that downtown area. The other areas you mentioned, North Park, South Park, Hillcrest, you'll find a little bit, but it's also a lot more suburban as it gets right out of downtown. So you will find these are also some of the most walkable neighborhoods here in San Diego. Next up is gonna be that north central region. And all these areas are actually within the city of San Diego. So you have the city of San Diego, downtown San Diego, but then all these other areas you might have heard of, some of the beach cities, Pacific Beach, La Jolla, those areas are city of San Diego. As you get into Sorrento Valley, that's a big hub they have a lot of commercial stuff up there, a lot of businesses. So if you're working, that could be potentially where you're gonna land. You got Mira Mesa, you have Carmel Valley, which is a big suburban area. It's central San Diego, it's city of San Diego, but it's its own little spot. Like people don't say they live in San Diego. They're saying they're living in La Jolla. They're saying they're living in Carmel Valley. They're saying they're living in Mira Mesa, all those different areas. So there's a bunch of different little spots, whether you're going coastal or a little bit further inland in that central north area of San Diego.
Next up is North Coastal. This is where we spend a ton of our time. We live in North County, so we spend a lot of time in this coastal region of North County. So you've got Del Mar, Solana Beach, Cardiff, which is an awesome little town. That's actually where we're at right now. You've got Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside, all the way up the coast. And there are a ton of different communities. Carlsbad is probably the biggest out of the group. No, it's not probably. It is one of the biggest out of the group, but there is also just a ton of infrastructure. There's a lot of commercial. There's a ton of different neighborhoods, great parks, great beaches. A lot of that kind of San Diego feel is here in North County.
And a lot of people who are reaching out to us are reaching out to North Coastal or North Inland because that's where we make a lot of our videos. But a lot of people who are searching North Coastal aren't really searching North Inland because there's quite the difference in lifestyle, in price, in all that kind of stuff, in temperature, which we'll get into a little bit here. But North Inland is where you're gonna find the bulk of San Marcos, you're gonna find Escondido. As you get a little bit further out, you're gonna find like Valley Center, Fallbrooks, all of those rural areas to the northern section of North County, the north San Diego, a lot of north in there, north section of North County, San Diego. And so it's a big area, but a lot of people, as you are looking at the county, are gonna live in that first third of the county where you have North Coastal, North Inland. Even though it goes in all the way to like the deserts, there's not much going on out there as far as housing. As far you could take you go out to Borrego.
Yep.
Go out there, nice little hotel out there, nice little, how far is it?
About an hour and a half, but there's really cool hiking, not during the summer, but really cool hiking in the spring and fall times. Just different. I mean, it's completely different than what you'd think when you're thinking San Diego.
And that's all in that North Inland corridor.
And so just south of this, you have East County, which includes Santee, La Mesa, El Cajon, a couple of other communities as well. And here you're going to find kind of just a wide variety of homes. You have some definitely older homes as you kind of get closer to downtown. And then you also have some new communities within all of those as well. And as you go kind of east, a little bit further into like El Cajon, you find some kind of rural areas where you have a little bit more land, maybe you have an avocado grove, and there's some really cool spots out there.
And the sixth region we have it broken up to is the south region. So we're just making our way kind of like around the clock. I don't know what way you guys are watching this, but around the clock. So south region is going to include like Chula Vista. It's going to include Imperial Beach. And we've even included Coronado in this little section, even though it could probably have its own little section because the way we drew it up on the map, you have the central downtown and then Coronado across the bridge, but it's kind of in that southern region. So this is, once again, Chula Vista is like one of the biggest cities right here in San Diego. So even though it is a little bit coastal, there's little sections of coastal. They're building like a huge resort down there, coastal, like, I don't know, $1 billion resort. From there, you have kind of the older section of Chula Vista. And then as you go out, you have some newer master plan communities out there. So like Otay Ranch and stuff. So just a lot of land, a lot of space. Imperial Beach is just like a little older style beach community right here, right next to the border.
So we're staying on the maps. We're going to get into climates. That's obviously a big reason people move to San Diego is our weather. You'll see that we break it down into 4 spots. You've got coastal, you have inland, you have mountains, and you have deserts. So right now we are in the coastal area. Maybe you can tell behind us, I can't tell. It's a little overcast, and that's tend to what happens, especially in some of our May, June months.
It shouldn't be happening right now.
No.
We're in August right now.
Yeah, this is a weird one.
Yeah, I'm Encinitas. I'm about 3 miles back. It was sunny at my house. San Marcos.
Sunny.
How much hotter over there?
Maybe 10 degrees hotter
10 degrees hotter
today.
Yeah. Usually it should be clear right now. Nonetheless, continue.
So coastal, you definitely get that coastal breeze throughout the year. You definitely get a little bit more cloud cover, a little bit more of that overcast skies, but in the summer months, it definitely tends to burn off pretty quickly. July, August, September usually burns off pretty quick.
And then the next section is going to be inland. So coastal inland, that's kind of like that first third. That's, like I said, where most people are going to live. So even if you're watching like the news, you're going to see they have 4 different areas. So they're going to have a coastal forecast, inland forecast, a mountain forecast, and a desert forecast, which we'll get into in a minute. But inland is a big stretch. Like Cassie said, you're going to get a little bit warmer. Housing prices are going to be a little bit less because obviously how it works here, closer to the coast you're going to be paying a bit more as you work your way inland. Typically, this isn't all, it's not set in stone, but as you work your way inland, it's going to be a little more affordable. And coastal, inland, like I said, those are the 2 spots that most people are going to live. And benefits of living inland, you get more sunny days. You also, con, I guess, is you're going to get more hot days. Now, a lot of houses are going to have AC. People that are moving out here that are calling us as we're looking at houses, does this have AC? Does this not have AC? And it depends. It varies from older houses, newer houses. Some people have put in ACs. Some even newer-ish constructions, let's go like 2000 on, maybe they'll have AC plumbed in, like ready to go, but no units there. You'll have to pop it in. So that'll be an expense. What's a kind of like a ballpark for AC?
About 10 grand, somewhere around there for AC.
Yeah. And you will utilize that inland. Coastal, not so much. My house where I live, Encinitas, we don't have AC. We just pop the windows open, even though like last night it was a little warm, a little toasty, but it only happens a few times throughout the year.
So the mountain areas may not be where you're living, but it is going to be a spot that you are going to visit. Mountains get hot during the summer, but they also get really cold in the winter. So we do get snow up in like Julian area, which is pretty cool. Like you can get up to Julian in about an hour, but that's also what a lot of people do. As soon as it snows in Julian, the masses go up there for sledding and just to see it and play in it a little bit.
Parking out there is ridiculous.
Yes.
Try parking out there after like a snow or something, or just like even a busy weekend. Good luck.
Yeah, so that's the big thing is we do get a little bit of snow up in that area, but it does get crowded. Traffic's bad. Parking's horrible. So either kind of get there first or don't get there at all. But it is a kind of a cool thing. But there's not a ton of cities in this kind of mountain area. You do have Julian, you do have Ramona, you've got Alpine to the south, you do have some communities. So if you're looking for mountain areas, there are some cool options.
And out there too, it's really cool. As you get coastal, as you get further inland, obviously you're getting more dense. As you get out there, a little more spread out. So you're going to find some hiking trails. You're going to find some camping spots. You're going to find areas to get out and about and really explore and not feel like you're in the hustle and bustle of living like in the city of San Diego. So it's pretty cool to get out there. We go camping out there quite a bit, or used to go camping out there when I was a kid, go fishing Lake Cuyamaca, like Palomar Mountain's got some really good camping. They have some glamping up there too. Bailey's, write that down. It's just a little secret we went to, but really cool spots up there as well. Jumping into the deserts, it's the deserts. So really nobody that reaches out here to us is moving out to deserts. Like we said, you might go do some camping out there. You might go do a little staycation, if you will, because it's not too far away. But other than that, that's the whole desert section.
January tends to be one of our coldest months. So just kind of for reference, you're looking at a high of 54 degrees and a low of 36. But then you get to August where we're at now, and you have a high of 86 and a low of
60. A low of 60. Let me
Good
bring
job.
it up. Yep, low of 60. It says it in the guide right here, so you guys can download that. But also, rain. We don't have a ton of rain, except like 2 years ago there was a ton of rain. As you're cruising around, there's going to be certain areas that flood. There's going to be certain areas that are going to have some issues. You're going to know where those are. The 78 freeway up in North County, San Diego, flooded crazy over the past, like 2 years ago. They basically rebuilt the drainage. Down in San Diego, like Pacific Beach, definitely down in Mission Beach. There's just some areas that will have some issues.
Encinitas, coastal.
It's coastal, Encinitas, Leucadia, floods all the time after we have big rains. But for the most part, as you cruise around, rain's not a huge issue, but you will have little problem areas here and there.
Yeah, I'd say droughts are more of an issue than rain in San Diego. As for schools, this is another big reason people move to San Diego on top of our weather is great schools here in San Diego. San Diego Unified School District is going to be the biggest one. And like we mentioned before, there's a lot of the kind of southern cities that are city of San Diego, like La Jolla and a lot of those spots. Those are all going to be San Diego Unified School District. And then as you move kind of north, a lot of the areas are going to have their own school district. Encinitas has their own, Carlsbad, Oceanside, Vista, San Marcos. A lot of the incorporated cities, as you move away from downtown San Diego, are going to have their own school districts. And Encinitas also has a different school district for elementary. That's just Encinitas School District for elementary. And then middle and high school is going to be San Diego School District.
In certain areas, depending on where you are, like depending on is a newer master plan community where you're like jumping into a different school district that's not within that city. There's certain little areas like where you would think like the Solana Beach School District extends kind of down into Carmel Valley a little bit. So you'll find these little areas too where you're like, I'm living there, I'm going to go to that school district. But in actuality, when you're looking at the map, you're going to somewhere else. Beyond that too, there's something called charter schools out here. I don't know if you guys have those where you're at, but it is a public school. It's just you do have to like not qualify. You do have to apply to get in there. And their whole thing is they have like a focus. What's their charter? That's what they're all about. You're gonna find them randomly through different areas, through different cities, and it just gives you another option of going to school.
And even though public schools are great here in San Diego, there are private school options as well if that's something you're looking at. And there are a ton of options up and down San Diego.
And in our guide as well, we do have a link that you could click and it brings you to the Voice of San Diego. They actually did a full rundown on all the schools. Really get in depth on each one, so you can figure out which one's going to be best for your kids, like what programs you're into, all that kind of stuff. So be sure to get that as well.
As you're exploring where to live, we have a section that kind of spotlights a whole bunch of different cities and towns within San Diego. Obviously there's more. This is why it's super important for us to kind of get on the horn, get on a Zoom call, and kind of chat through the things that are important to you to kind of see which of these cities might work.
Now, beyond housing, beyond where you're going to live, what's there to do here? San Diego has a lot to do. Yeah. And sometimes I'll read like Reddit posts or even actually things like comments to our videos. And it's like, San Diego's so boring. Like, you know, there's nothing to do here. You guys are lame, whatever it might be. And you can, yes, you can just sit at your house and do nothing, which I do a lot, actually. Just, there's a lot to do, but sometimes you just want to chill at your house, hang out with your family, maybe go have a little family barbecue, whatever it might be. But beyond that, there is a lot to do. Beaches, obviously one of the big draws here. And there's a ton of different styles of beaches, different areas of beaches, whether you're surfing, just chilling, just going to do a walk on the beach, starting down in Coronado, going through PB, La Jolla, Del Mar, Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside. All of them have their own little allure, their own vibe. Now, when you're living here, you're probably going to go to the one that's like the straightest shot. Sometimes, as I'm living in Encinitas, we're going to the Cardiff beaches. We're going to the South Carlsbad beaches. I actually don't go to too many Encinitas beaches unless I'm going surfing. But if we're going with the kids, it's those separate areas. Obviously, if you're living a little bit further south, maybe you're going to go down to the Del Mar beaches. So it really depends. That's going to guide you on where you're going to go to the beach. If you're going on a little staycation to Coronado, obviously that's where you're going to end up down there. So we have all that stuff. We have a ton of breweries here, different areas down in central San Diego, in Vista, in North County San Diego, in downtown San Diego, a ton of different tasting rooms, different vibes. Capital of Craft right here. Good little spot, good places to explore, meet some good folks down here.
And also just a huge park and trail systems here in San Diego. You have a ton of options. You can really try one every weekend for a long time when you move out here. Great spot behind us here in Cardiff. I'm about to go walk it right now. But there are a ton of these throughout San Diego.
And then there's a lot of attractions, hotspots, like things you guys have probably done if you visited here, the downtown San Diego scene, Seaport Village, you have Embarcadero, you have the Rady Shell and go see some concerts down there. You do have, we already mentioned the beaches, you have Petco Park if you want to go to a Padre game, even if you're not a Padre fan. if you're moving from somewhere, obviously you're probably not a Padre fan, go check out a game.
You will become a Padre fan. There are a lot of our clients that have moved here from other parts of the country and rock Padre gear now.
Yeah, and then there's also like the zoo down there. They have the safari park up north, Legoland. There's just a lot of those big attractions as well. So if you got kids, you're gonna find plenty of stuff to do. If you don't, you're gonna find plenty of stuff to do. You're gonna find your own little vibe in your tribe, wherever you're living, your own things to do. You're gonna be exploring, especially living here. Like, we lived here our whole lives. And even still, I'm finding new things to do like every week. I'm always like, what's cool to do in San Diego? You know, looking it up, because you stay in your little bubble, which is kind of one of the cons here in San Diego. You kind of live in your little zone.
Circle, yeah.
But as you're going out of there, you're gonna find a ton of different things to check out.
So we've helped a ton of people relocate here to San Diego. So we've really dialed in our process. The last sheet of our relocation guide just has kind of the summary, the little quick hits of our process. So definitely your first step is download this relocation guide. And when you're ready, we are here. We'd love to chat with you, kind of help you design the perfect way to relocate out here to San Diego. And we've got your back when move into San Diego.